Club.
I think Nicole had the same idea as I did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We have a network rule though, no wine while we're recording.
Oh, too late.
We're live. Hi everybody.
Hey.
We have Lynn Drury with us, and thank you, Lynn, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to introduce you in a way. I mean, the first question that we want to ask you sort of will allow you to introduce yourself, but I want to tell you a quick story. In 2018, my girlfriend and I were at Jazz Fest, and it was one of those hot Jazz Fest days, and she was miserable. I mean, I was used to it because I've been going for a long time, but she was like, God, I want to go home. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we wandered into the grandstand, and I didn't look at a schedule, and I saw that you were playing at the Lanyap stage. So we sat down and watched your set, 2018 Lanyap Stage Jazz Fest, and it was truly one of the best sets in the 30 plus years of Jazz Fest that I've been going to. And
Wow.
so that was my opinion, but Susie, who is a critic of, I mean, she loves music, but she's very picky on what she likes. She loved it.
Wow.
And it turned out that was the start of a great day. We saw your set, and then we saw David Byrne later that afternoon. And it was one of those magical Jazz Fest days that started out.
That's amazing.
I didn't think it was going to go that well, but it was great.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm back on that stage this year, so I'm happy to be back in it, you know. Looking forward to it. A little nervous because I feel like I haven't played that much, you know.
But, well, I think everyone's going to be like kind of like, whoa, there's people around, and no masks, and no, I you know, you're going to be great. You're going to be great. We'll talk about Jazz Fest, your set, in a second, but can you give us some background? When did you? I know you're from Mississippi, and I know you came to New Orleans in the 90s sometime, but tell us how you wound up in New Orleans and why you came to New Orleans.
I wound up in New Orleans. I had always been coming to New Orleans as a kid. You know, I grew up an hour outside of New Orleans. It's not really the North Shore, but it's in Pekin, Mississippi, Carrier, Mississippi, which is a rural, you know, country. But as a teenager, I came to Jazz Fest and I did all that. And I always loved music, and I was always in music in high school, and I played clarinet, and I went through college, and I never really thought of music as a career or anything. It just wasn't in my head. You know, my parents were like, go get a job. I didn't grow up wealthy or anything. They were like, just get some insurance and, you know, get out on your own. Right. And so I had a business degree, but in the final year of my business degree, I had an enjoyment of music class. And he wrote his own textbook. He was a composer. Sort of a classical, you know, guy. Zananelli was his last name. Anyway, so after that course, I realized I had this epiphany. You know, I'm like, oh my God, I need to be playing music. You know, this is what I've been called to do. It was just this crazy thing. And so then, me and my boyfriend at the time came to New Orleans, and I said, you know, I've always wanted to write songs and sing and play guitar, and so we moved to New Orleans in '95. And I just, you know, I was hanging out at Fat Harry's. Was it Fat Harry's? Yeah. I was hanging out at Fat Harry's. I'm like, I need guitar lessons. And this guy goes, oh, I teach guitar, you know. And so I hammered out a year in my house, just playing for hours on end, you know. And I learned 3 or 4 chords, and I did an open mic at Tipitina's. Used to have an open mic on like Mondays or something. And I got up there and I played a song with the band, and the manager at Margaritaville was like, hey, do you want a gig? And I'm like, what? Like, I can barely play guitar. Literally, I had a weekly gig at Margaritaville in 1998. Through 2003 is really where I cut my teeth and learned how to perform, play, talk, all of it at the same time, and entertain tourists. So I kind of like all of the things I had to progress at the same time. That's kind of the way I put it. But that's how I made it here. And then, you know, I just continued to play and write. And finally, I put my first record out in 2001. But that was a culmination of you know, 5 or 6 years of writing the first record.
So that's incredible. So I just want to be clear. So before you came to New Orleans, you didn't really know how to play the guitar,
Had never picked up the guitar.
never picked up a guitar, and you had not written a song.
I had written a song or two just driving. I used to commute in my last year of college. I was commuting an hour, and I wrote this really great. I remember writing. I was writing, but I didn't know what I was really doing. I was trying to write it down and drive at the same time, and down the interstate, mind you. But I did write a song, but I lost it. I don't know where it is. It's like they would come and then I would write, and they would just go.
Wow.
I wasn't writing it all down or anything. I did write one of them down, and then I lost the book, and I'm like, where's that long lost hit song that I whatever. Yeah.
Well, you never
Somewhere
know.
in my college course book, it's there.
You never know though. That might just come back to you. I have I have some hearing loss, and one of the things that happens with your brain when you have hearing loss and tinnitus is that your brain starts like constantly playing music, right, to distract you from the tinnitus. And
Wow.
sometimes I'll just remember weird tunes. I remember I haven't sang since I was in, church choir in third grade.
That's
Yeah.
great. I suffer, mine's really loud, just really loud at night. I just put my earbuds in and try to cover it up. Like I can hear it right now, but yeah, I think that's just from playing rock and roll for 20 something years, and
It happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does happen. But I didn't know that. I just thought I didn't know that.
Yeah.
First I've heard of that, but
Oh, really?
yeah,
So,
but I'm always having songs in my head. So I just thought it was,
so
yeah,
I get pesky earworms in my head. I get things
yeah,
stuck in my head that I don't want there, but it's better than the tinnitus. So,
yes,
Well, this is
yeah.
just veering right off track.
tinnitus talk.
I'm sorry, Nicole. It's tinnitus.
It is tinnitus. That is true.
Tinnitus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know that
Sorry.
until
I didn't know that either.
I'm still going to say tinnitus too, because
Yeah, it's okay. We say whatever we want. We're the sufferers.
exactly. Don't get me started.
So I was reading your bio on your website earlier, and number one, I love the badass photo of you as a rodeo rider.
Thank you.
And everybody who's listening should go to lyndrury.com, of course, to check out Lynn's music and her background, but also to see this badass photo. It's great. But I really love the term that you introduced me to, Nola Americana.
Yay.
Yeah, I loved it. So I wanted you to tell me a little bit about that. What do you think makes that unique? Where'd it come from?
Well, there's a couple of people that have Nola Americana in New Orleans. I thought I was the first. And my LLC is Nola Americana Music and all that. I think I started it in 2014. And then there's a Nola Americana group on Facebook. I was like, oh, okay. But they're sort of more country, and mine is sort of, the way I think of it is New Orleans Americana, kind of like a groove country. For me, it's more of a singer-songwriter that's steeped in that New Orleans groove, I mean, I liken it to like Alex McMurray. I feel like I'm in that sort of vein, where it's like New Orleans becomes a part of you at the same time you're writing country and you're writing all these other types of songs, but New Orleans is the backbone of it. That's the way I described it.
I hear that. Who are some other, you mentioned Alex, who are some other artists that you feel sort of fall into that vein that we can check out?
There's so many. I mean, I did a Nola Americana singer songwriter session, at this Loa bar, and I just had all the songwriters in New Orleans, because I feel like songwriters in New Orleans, we don't get noticed as much, as the brass and all of that. And it's just that we have a big wealth of songwriters in New Orleans that I think now are getting noticed, that we were never noticed. But I mean, like Alan Toussaint, it's like, that's the original, right? I mean, to me. But there's Sean Williams, there's, oh God, I'm going to blank on everybody now. Um, who else? Let me look at my book here. But I mean, there's Happy Talk, there's Greg Schatz, there's the Geraniums. There's
Susan
the
Cal. So,
Iguanas. Iguanas is
Susan,
I would say Iguanas is more like they have that Tex-Mex too, but Iguanas too is sort of like that. And yeah,
That's cool.
there's
it's funny.
others.
It's funny how we try to label and classify music, right?
Yeah,
Whether it's country or rock or
I guess
singer
you could.
songwriter or Nola Americana. Or,
Yeah,
I mean, when
I
I
guess
when
you could.
I when I listened to you in 2018 at that set that I was raving about, to me that was rock.
Yeah,
That was rock.
yeah, and we
Um,
have like Paul Sanchez. We have this big rock bed too. That we all in New Orleans grew up with. I don't know, but it's to me. I would like to encompass all of the songwriters into that just by being in
yeah.
this vicinity and being here. If you've been here for a while, I think it sort of gets into what you do. I know it got into what I do, even though it's country or rock or, you know, that's the way I feel about it. But I don't.
So let's go back to your history. You said you came to New Orleans in 95. Your first album came out in 2001. When did you first play Jazz Fest and what was that like?
I actually played Jazz Fest in 2000.
Hmm.
Um, at the Alliston Minor stage, I believe. Was it Jim McCormick that started the? I can't remember. They used to do a songwriter in the round for 5 years at the Allison Minor stage, which was inside up in the grandstand where they do the interviews. And I did that from 2000 to 2005. I did that as just in the round with other writers. And then, but my first band Jazz Fest show was 2003. And the band had already broken up when we did Jazz Fest in 2003. So,
So it was a reuniting of a broken up band. I love that.
yeah, don't date the bass player. That's the moral of that story.
So this sounds like Fleetwood Mac.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
So you mentioned when we first hopped on this that you are playing this year. Um, Tell us, psych us up for it. I think we're all super excited to just get back to the fest, right? To support all the artists that we love. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. So tell us what you're playing, and then also give us an idea. Do you know if we can find you out and about at night during festival season?
I am doing every Wednesday I play at a little courtyard in the French Quarter called MRB. MRB NOLA, you can find it online. And that's sort of been my home since May, every Wednesday. And I was there last night, it was great. And every Wednesday I just have a different bunch of friends. It's mostly a locals joint. They have grilled oysters, food. You just sit in the courtyard and hang out with me, and I'll play, 7 to 10. Every Wednesday I do that. I am playing Gaza Gaza, I believe, on the Tuesday, May 3rd with Loose Cattle. And then I'm also playing somewhere else. I'm playing Bufas on the 8th on Mother's Day, that's Sunday. I'm doing some porch things like after fest on the festival grounds, like off Ursuline. I'll be playing over there on May 7th. And I'm playing the Jazz Fest on May 1st, Sunday, May 1st, the first Sunday at 5:40 on the Lanyap. So it seems like I'm closing out the Lanyap stage.
Oh, nice.
That's great.
That's
I
awesome.
don't know. I feel pressure for that. Normally I would be on at 2, which I'm happy with. But yeah, looks like I'm going to be closing it out.
And are these shows full band, solo? A
Yeah,
little of
full
both?
bands, full
Full band.
bands. Yeah, full band. Yeah, for sure. I'm playing somewhere else. I can't let me look at my phone.
Well, this gives us another opportunity to plug lyndrury.com,
Definitely.
tour dates. By the way, while you're looking at that, Nicole, you just saw Lynn perform in the last few weeks, right?
So I did actually. I caught you at the brewery. I was in town the day of Chewbacca's.
Oh,
It was like February. I
oh
should know
yeah.
this. Maybe the 5th?
It was, yeah, February 5th.
Yeah, yeah. My partner Chris ran a race, and so we were in town and we went to meet a bunch of friends up at the brewery and caught you. And your set was beautiful. We loved it. We were really super into it. And that was my first time actually hearing you solo. I've heard you with your band before. So I was really excited that we scheduled this interview afterward because I said, I just heard Lynn's beautiful music.
Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good show. I don't always say that. But yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
I felt I could feel the love from the people, because you don't always, because you're like watching a giant screen
Yes.
of yeah. So
Oh, so that wasn't that long ago because the Olympics are still ongoing.
Olympics are still on. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. We were watching
think-
the skating while Lynn was performing. It was
I think
kind
I
of
made a
like
joke
that
'cause-
sort of-
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, no, I made a joke because I'm staring at, I have like the best view because it's a giant screen on the other side of the wall, right? And I'm like, wow, I'm so glad we could all be here to watch the Olympics together. It's fun.
It was great. You handled it wonderfully.
Yeah.
Well,
Like I said.
I don't know if you get a chance to attend Jazz Fest as a fan. So I guess it's a two-part question. Do you get a chance to do that? And then secondly, who do you want to see as a fan this year? Whether it's a big name act or a local, who would you recommend?
I mean, if you have a brass pass that you're not using one day, just let me know. Okay. Because I have to pay, and unless I get in on some other musician's ticket, which I might try to do. But I want to see Lucas Nelson, The Promise of the Real. I have never seen Shovels and Rope. I'd like to see them. Chris Isaac is going to be there.
Yeah.
He's always fun.
I just skimmed the list because I was like, oh my God, I haven't even looked at the schedule. They don't have the cubes. The cubes are not out, are they?
They're not out.
No. So, and then also Doug Kershaw, Ricky Lee Jones, Hooray for the Riff Raff, Willie Nelson. I always like to see him.
Yeah.
So,
Now, Ricky Lee Jones lives in New Orleans, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was able to see her. She did like a secret show at Cafe Istanbul. I guess it's been a while now. Maybe it was this past summer.
Mhm.
And it was only for like WWOZ people. It was like word of mouth. And it was just her and Mike Dillon. And
Wow.
it was only like 40 people there. And so we got into this little secret show. One night, my DJ friend Jennifer Brady was like, "Hey, do you want to go to a show?" And I got all dressed up, and I'm like, "Yeah." I just assumed we were going to see her at Tipitina's, and then we're driving. She's like, "It's in your neighborhood," and I was like, "What? We're not. I thought we were going to Tipitina's." No, it's at Cafe Istanbul. I was like, "No way!" I got to meet her, and it's like I was just like fangirl, but I was so nervous that she was just like, "Oh my God, this woman is crazy,"
It happens.
But anyway. It was beautiful. It's beautiful. Her voice is pristine. And I hope that I can hang on to my voice that long, like,
Right.
because right now I'm hoarse. I don't know what's going on in New Orleans. I think something in the air because clearly I have not been partying that
No,
much.
clearly. Why would you be doing that this
No.
week?
Yeah. No.
So how did you hear about the Threadheads?
Wow. Well, how did I hear about the Threadheads? Gosh, you guys helped me make Sugar on the Floor.
I think so. Yeah.
You helped me make Come to My House. I want to.
You got grants, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I got the grant. I think a couple of times. So with Sugar, maybe it was through Carlo, who's produced that record.
Oh yeah.
And I don't remember, but I remember writing the grant. I remember doing that, and I was so excited, like, oh my God, you know. So I'm very grateful to the Threadheads. Plus all of the support after, I'm still really good friends with a lot of them that, come to New Orleans and come to see my shows, and you guys. I mean, you guys have done so much for me, so I really appreciate y'all. For real. And you've done so much for a lot of people. I know a lot of my friends are like, oh, I got the Threadhead grant. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get back on that train too. I got another record I need to make. But no. And then I got to play a Threadhead party. You used to do the
Patry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still happen. They're still every Tuesday in between the first and second weekends.
I don't think I've ever done the Patry, but I've done the City Park.
Oh, you were at Threadhead
nice.
Thursday. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, just put me on that other list,
So I know you had a new album that came out last year, if I remember. And did it come out right when Jazz Fest was supposed to happen, right?
Yeah. It came out September 30th.
So right before the postponed Jazz Fest was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Bummer. But no, not a bummer. I've been able to promote it, and it's a good record. I think it's a good record.
It's a good record, yeah.
People love it, and I sold a lot of them, thank God. And I have some vinyl. I've got vinyl for you. You want one?
So can people expect to hear some of these newer songs at your sets coming up here in April?
Yeah. Yep. I'm also going to be at the French Quarter Festival April 24th, which is the Sunday.
Awesome. In the off chance I make it to the French Quarter Festival, it will be for Sunday, so I'll swing by.
Yeah. And that's 2 p.m. on the Esplanade in the Shade stage.
Sweet.
So it's not in the super thick of it, it's on the edge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have to say, both as a fan, and I'm sure you would say this as a musician, it's so exciting that these festivals are going to happen, and they will happen. They're not going to cancel. These will happen.
Yay. It feels like it. I sent stage plots and contracts, so it's like, okay, we're actually going to do this. So I'm very excited. I'm also a little bit, anxious, I think. But yeah.
Well,
it'll be fine.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you come festival season. We need to get you out the door so you can get to Muses. This was such a treat talking to you, Lynn. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Nicole. Nice to meet you here.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. All right, have fun.
Thank you, Lynn.
Mwah. Happy Mardi Gras.
All right, see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.